All right, welcome on everybody. Last show of the year, RSM Classic. It's not the last show of the season; it's the last show of the calendar year. It doesn't really matter that much, but we get a little break. So, Rob, thank you for joining me. I'm happy you're on. Well, even though this is kind of your show, thank you for joining me again.
Well, glad to have you on. This always like having you on, but yeah, last time a little bittersweet. It's nice to have a break, but I don't know what I'm going to do with my weekends now, especially my Sunday mornings and like Saturday mornings too, grinding with the showdown stuff. So I don't know what I'm going to do with my time, but I think it'll be one of those things where first week or two you'll like it, and then you'll just be counting down the days until January and Kapalua. So, yeah, let's
Yeah,
do it, man. I'm excited about this.
I mean, you got some Cats basketball starting to pick up. That should hold you over.
That's true.
You follow them a lot, right?
Oh yeah, big time. We'll get down to a couple games now. Did you see it last night where $200,000 were placed on them? I think it was minus 24.5, and
I had minus
the game
26.
ended. Oh yeah, that's right. I did see it on Twitter. Dude, what a terrible beat.
Yeah.
Gosh, and then what an amazing win for that dude who put 200K on it.
Crazy, crazy. Yeah, it was insane. I was watching it. I was pulling into my apartment. I had it on my phone while I was driving. I was like, "Come on, just one more stop."
Yeah.
He misses it. They get the offensive rebound and laid it up. I was like, "Seriously?" But
Hmm.
I'm happy that guy won. But all right, enough basketball talk. We are golf handicappers, golf betters, not basketball betters. Are you ready to get into this?
Well, please let's do it.
All right, we're gonna start with the favorites, top of the betting board, 10K range. Universal, about basically every single book. These guys are the same, more or less. So the first guy I'll talk about, and I'm sure you like him as well, is Cam Smith. Excuse me, Cam Smith, Australian. He's just playing exponentially better towards the end of the season. He's becoming an elite before our eyes, and I bet him at WGC. I love him. I think it's a great spot for him. Fairways, great wedge player, great putter. What's your thoughts on Cam Smith?
Yeah, I love Cam Smith. He ranks 16th in Fanshare's course suitability ranking, and it makes sense. Yeah, he struggles off the tee, but if we think of, I think it was this past year at Harbour Town, he kind of, I think, tied the course record as first round leader before I think
Hmm.
Stuart Sink, pulled away. So yeah, Cam is great. I love Cam. I was on him last week, and he just missed a ton of putts within 10 to 15 feet, and that's one of Cam's strengths. He's an excellent putter. He's top 10 in the field. So I love Cam. We'll see some positive regression with him with the putter, we would hope. Only thing I do worry about, he's coming in at fairly high ownership DFS. He's about 19% projected at Fanshare, but it's hard. It's hard not to roster him. If I put out my ownership shares, he's my second highest owned guy. He's in about or almost 50% of my lineup. So big on Cam.
Yeah, and I didn't look into his last week's numbers too much. How would he was he off the tee? Was he like a zero, or did he lose off the tee last week? Or you're not sure?
Yeah, let's pull that up. Well, I know for the last 24, he's lost strokes off the tee. Yeah, he lost 3.2 off the tee in Houston, and he
Yep,
still finished 15th. Still finished 15th. And
exactly.
the most surprising thing is that he gained 4.4 putting strokes putting, and that is so surprising with how many birdie opportunities he had. So this will be
That's
a birdie
crazy.
fest. He just converts a lot of those. He should contend. Yeah, we need those off the tee strokes gained to kind of improve because there's a lot of water. So we
Yeah,
don't want the big number, but I think he will. At the CJ Cup just a couple weeks before that, he gained a stroke off the tee. So
and
he'll be
like
all
like
right.
like you were saying, I know a lot of people bet him last week, and when I dove into him last week, I saw that I was looking at just the 2022 season rankings for the numbers, and Cam Smith's off the tee numbers were actually pretty good, and
Hmm.
I was like, these Cam Smith struggles up the tee. These numbers are going to regress. And at a course like Houston, where it's long and he's going to have to hit driver a lot and he's going to have to to bomb out there, I expect him to lose. But this spot shorter, I feel like these are easy fairways to hit. And I think, and in some spots, there's some hazards, but the fairway percentage gains on this course is pretty good. So I feel like this won't be as hard off the tee as it was last week. I'm trying to think that last week he was trying to hit longer and like he's maybe
Yeah.
intimidated a little bit. I feel like this week it's shorter. He doesn't have to bomb it, so I feel like it'll be fine. and we'll get
Yeah.
if he's like a 0 or 1 off the tee, he should be in business.
Yeah, that's a great point. With not, and you don't have to swing as hard. When you swing harder, there's more spin that comes on the ball, and so I love that analogy, or not that point of, he doesn't have to neither need driver off the tee, but doesn't have to maybe have that intimidation.
Yeah, and Cam Smith was the first guy I bet. I thought I was gonna go the PGA Tout route and bet all bombs, have like a 12-man card of bombs, but I grabbed Cam Smith, and I like that he's playing the Seaside Course day 1, which I'll get into later. Next guy in this favorites range, 6th in my model, Corey Connors, hasn't played since the Shriners, where he lost 6.87 strokes approach, which is wild for Corey Connors. Absolutely wild. Expect him to gain approach this week, and I think he'll have a good week. What's your thoughts on Corey Connors?
Yeah, I don't know what to do with Corey Connors. He has great form or not going to say current form, back class. So that's like back form, where ball striking, he ranks 7th in the field the last 24. Fairways gained, he ranks 4th. Proximity from a very important distance of 125 to 150, he ranks 9th. Yeah, he has great data. I just think there's a question mark with the current form. He hasn't played in a couple weeks. And with him being one of the highest owned guys at almost 24%, I totally faded in DFS. Not because I think he's going to play bad, but just because there's a little question mark of how is he coming into this week. And with that high ownership, I just want to maybe get some possible leverage if he happens to have an off week.
Yeah, I was just about to pull the trigger at Corey Connors at like 25 to 1. Then I'm thinking, what am I doing betting Corey Connors at 25 to 1? What does he have? 1 win at Valero as a Monday qualifier or something like that?
Yeah.
And losing almost 7 strokes approach, which is like the opposite of Corey Connors, hasn't played in X amount of weeks. Maybe there's something wrong. If we lose to a 25 to 1 Corey Connors, we lose to a 25 to 1 Corey Connors.
Sure, so be it.
But I don't think that'll happen. I like your approach of fading him in DFS. I totally passed him in the betting market. Really considered it. And I like that he's playing Seaside on day 1, but I am not betting him. All right, you have anyone else in this range that you'd like to note?
Yeah, I'll just speak a little bit on Scotty. So Scotty's ownership is surprisingly high. Fanshare has him at 25%. That is very, very high. It's hard to get multiple guys that high in super large field GPP. So I think that ownership number will come down a tad. But point being is he could be in the running for one of the highest owned golfers in the field. That is a lot to bite off Scotty. I still own a large share of him. I think he's going to play well again, maybe even win. But, man, it's hard to take a bite of 25% Scotty in this tournament. So that's all I was just going to say about the top guys, DFS-wise.
Yeah, and like I said, last week I bet Scotty, almost could have won it probably. I love Scotty. I'm a Scotty fan. What is he? He played here once. I think he finished 4th or something like that. He had a good time. He played here well. I'm not betting Scotty at 10 to 1. I really do think he will perform well. But like I said last week, I thought his first career win was going to come in more difficult conditions, because when I model Scotty out, he never really models out for me, and it got me thinking, why does he play so good? It's because he's the rare combo of off the tee scrambling. That's like his game, off the tee and around the green, which is like it's not very, we don't see it a lot, but he just scores the ball. Like when you look at like scoring stats, par 4 scoring, and if you use that in your models, he'll model out for me. But I like to use more ball striking numbers, and he never really models out for me, like ever. But I'm wishing the best for Scotty. I'm just gonna pass on him. I don't know if I see it this week. So you want to move on to the next range?
Let's do it.
All right, 25 to 45 / 9K. And again, some of these numbers might overlap based on different books and stuff, but you guys get the idea. First guy I'll speak about is the infamous Russell Henley. I heard you talk to Andy about him. I totally agreed with what you guys had to say. Like I'm in the same boat as you guys on Russell Henley. He's number 1 in my model, and I do think you guys' point about him being in contention so much is a benefit to him. And it's gonna, like Sam Burns was before he won. I really see it soon for Russell Henley, and he gets so much hate, and I hate on him too for Twitter because I bet him all the time. And don't get me wrong, Russell Henley was going to be the first guy I bet this week, but I risked it. I'm putting all of my eggs in the Seaside day one basket. Call me crazy, but it could be a risk and it can totally backfire. Could be an advantage, but since he's not on the Seaside, I didn't bet him, and just that little reason got me off Russell Henley. But all the numbers point towards Russell Henley. There's nothing that says Russell Henley won't do well here. Yeah, I don't have to sell everyone on Russell Henley because his ball striking and course fit and everything makes so much sense. Even the putting makes sense. So, what's your thoughts on him?
Yeah, the same thing with you're talking about Russell Henley. Now, I had to limit my shares of him. I wanted him to maybe be my second or third highest on golfer, but for the same fact you talked about for the wind and playing in the windier conditions on the Seaside course, that scared me a little bit. Now, I don't think it'll be a huge disadvantage, maybe like a stroke and a half for the different kind of golfers that are situated in the field, but still that's hard to kind of buy in. So, yeah, I kind of backed off, but I love Russell Henley. You know, he ranks second in the field over the last 24 rounds in strokes gained approach. He ranks 10th in proximity from 150 to 175. Green and regulation gained, which is important here. He ranks 16th. He ranks 4th in ball striking. Everything is lined up for Russell Henley. And the good thing about Russell Henley is he gained strokes putting last week. Hasn't done that, pretty consistently within the past year, really. He's a Georgia guy. He's familiar with the area. I like Russell Henley. I just wish maybe he got the better of the tee time stack. But I will say something real quick. I just wanted to mention before I forget about the course being difficult or the courses being difficult. So the Plantation being the easier of the two. That wasn't the case last year. Plantation actually played a little bit tougher. And so I'm playing showdown lineups tomorrow. Actually, just one in a larger entry one. But many people are going to stack the Plantation. I'm actually stacking more. I might go 4 and 2, or actually might go 3 and 3 of Plantation and Seaside, because I think Plantation might actually play a little bit easier tomorrow. But it definitely, both courses are near the ocean. We get it. It's it's St. Simon's Island. But with the link style Seaside, the wind is going to be, you're going to be more exposed. But yeah, it's going to be difficult Friday for both of them, but just a tad more on Friday at the Seaside. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, and I love Russell Henley. You mentioned he's a UGA guy, and we mentioned how he gained on Bermuda last week. If you look at his career Bermuda numbers versus the rest of his surface, it's it's a different guy. It's actually crazy how he performs on Bermuda, and you see variances, but I feel like Russell Henley's variance is just very odd because it's consistent across the board, and then he has those weeks where he can gain 5+ strokes on Bermuda grass. And I mean, I'm sure if you ask a lot of PGA Tour guys, they don't have that much of a preference, but Russell Henley on Bermuda, he does it. So move on from Russell Henley. Yep, we love him. Everyone loves him. My next guy, I didn't see him bet at all, really. He was super popular a week or two ago. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I actually bet him at 40-1, and that's Joaquin Niemann. And he didn't model out for me too much. I like Joaquin Niemann a lot because of these windy conditions. It's going to be very windy Friday through Sunday, and of the Sony comp, what did he finish second at Wildlight last year? Lost in a was that he lost? Was that to no? That was at Kapalua.
That was Kapalua, yeah.
That was Kapalua. But I like the windy condition. I like him. I love the number. And I like him to find fairways. He's really good in the 125 to 175 range. And it was more of a number than anything. I feel like he's priced with guys he plays better than.
Yeah, I can kind of see that with Niemann. I didn't touch him. I've been playing him the last few weeks. He just hasn't done it for me. And I don't know if this is his course. Yeah, if it gets windy, he has a perfect ball flight for it. But he's 9,700, but let me pull off his ownership. That's the real thing. And he 13%. So I can get in 13%. And maybe the real surprising thing, so maybe I need to bite my tongue, but he actually ranks 3rd in course suitability. Suitability. So that's surprising. So I get actually Niemann could be an excellent DFS play with only 13% owned, and some stats saying he could be a great fit. I actually like that.
Yeah, and it was so weird because he was so highly touted and tipped at Mayakoba, which is a fairway birdie fest, and Was that Mayakoba or was that? Yeah, that was Mayakoba, not Bermuda.
Yeah.
He was so highly touted, and what did he finish? I think he finished fifth there, or he did really well there, I believe. So I don't know. Maybe people were a week or two too early on the guy, and like I said, he didn't really model out for me too much, but I do like the number more than anything. And like I'm betting outright, you're talking DFS. I'll take that 40 to
Right.
1 on Joaquin Niemann, who is one of the very talented golfer. Um, and the next guy we'll talk about that we are both on is Chris Kirk. So I saw him on your card. Give me your Chris Kirk take.
So Chris Kirk, and Andy pointed out when we were on a show this past Monday, so this week, that how well he does on shorter courses. And so I really like Chris Kirk because he's going to be in the fairway. He's not going to find himself in trouble. And when he does find short courses, well, gosh, he's great with the wedges. And then he can convert. He's familiar with area. Again, he's another bulldog. He's another UGA guy. Good course history. And let me pull up his ownership because I think I kind of made a note that I really liked him for his ownership. Oh, let's see. No, maybe not, because he is now. Because it just updated, and oh my gosh, this update happened just a couple minutes ago, and he's now all the way up to 20% owned on DFS. Wow. Chris Kirk. Yeah, that's 6 point higher than what he originally was. So,
you playing him a lot in DFS or no?
So I was, but I might have to get off that. That's 6 points higher than what it was when I made my lineups, and now it's almost up to 20. So I might have to adjust later this evening. I think he's a great bet. We both bet him, but DFS, that's getting a little rocky. I might really have to get off him now.
See, that, my friends, is why you watch the Wednesday night show.
That's right.
We get live updates, and this is I'm tweeting it. Watch Rob's show, final DFS thoughts, and that's pretty significant information on a popular golfer. So, but like I said,
I don't think I've ever seen a number go up that much just in one update, and it makes sense because everything I've been reading and listening to in the last 24 hours have been hyping Kirk up, and I loved him when he was 13% projected ownership, but gosh, now 19. That's tough.
Yeah, he's also played this event 10 times. He has a win, a T4, and 3 top 20s. So I do like Chris Kirk, or it was called something else back then, but this setup.
Right.
All right. Who else do you like in this range? Anyone else notable?
Yeah. I don't know if it's like notable, and I don't really like them, but I have to mention my boy Taylor Gooch. And all I'm going to say is this is not a Taylor Gooch course. I don't like him. I didn't bet him. He's not in any of my lineups. I make a lot of lineups, so that should tell you something. It's not my Gooch. It's not my Gooch's week this week. And if he comes back to win, I don't know what I'll do for the weeks we're off. But I just don't see it happening this week with the Gooch.
Yeah, I originally, like every Saturday, I write down a list of golfers that just come in my head and who I think have good performance this week. I initially wrote down Taylor Gooch, but I couldn't get there either. But at the same time, I feel like, we both know how he struggles off the tee, and he did not do well last week. I feel like people were off of Gooch at Mayakoba because of the off the tee. They were saying, I don't know if he can hit these Mayakoba fairways, and he played awesome. So you never know. It's golf.
Yeah, that's true.
So, all right, you want to move to the next range?
Let's do it.
50 to 65 range /8K. First guy I will note, and I know you will also have a lot to say about this guy, is Joel Damon, who just coming off of a Friday 65, hitting the ball amazing right now, and I'll let Rob sell you on the rest of Joel Damon.
Yeah, I'm pulling up his ownership right now because Kirk, that is really worrying me. And good. Damon's ownership hasn't really moved at all. He's projected at 12.75, so 13%. That makes me feel so much better because he's been picking up steam on Twitter at least. But I'll tell you why I love Damon. Over the last 24 rounds, he ranks 9th in ball striking, ranks 20th in fairways gained, ranks 18th in strokes gained approach, and ranks first from proximity to 150 to 175. 20% of approach shots come from that range, and he ranks first. We've seen him win in a coastal course on Bermuda, and he's trending the best in the field. I think it's somewhere around, he gained 5 on approach last week, had a great Sunday round. I'm one of those guys that like golfers who played really, really well on Sunday in the tournament before, and they're carrying that momentum into this week. I really, really like Damon, and I'm even more just relieved that his ownership didn't jump up like Kirk did. But I love Damon. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I wrote him down on my initial thoughts. Before even looking at any of the numbers, I wrote him down my initial thoughts. I felt like it was a good Damon spot. All the numbers, like you just said, are amazing. He's playing, I think, the better of the tee time slots. He's got Seaside on day one, and he's 66-1. It was pretty much a no-brainer for me to bet Joel Damon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you have a lot of him in DraftKings. I bet him at 66-1 as one of my fifth guy down the board. And yeah, I think this is going to be an awesome week for Joel Damon.
Yeah, he's in 60% of my lineups. So
60%. That shows you how you feel on Joel Damon.
Mm-hmm.
That's impressive. All right, next guy I'll talk about. Another Georgia Bulldog. I hate betting on him. I bet on him like probably 4 times in his career, and I've never once won money on him. And his name is Brendan Todd. Why do I like Brendan Todd? Well, this is if you think of Brendan Todd courses, this is one of them. I don't have to get into the accuracy wedge game because you guys already know that with Brendan Todd. One thing I really like about Brendan Todd is when I was I don't know if I talked to you about this on a podcast or someone else, but when I went to Travelers and met up with Brian for the first time, I was following Brendan Todd and Scotty Scheffler on Friday afternoon, and no, Brendan Todd and Sam Burns, I think it was, and they weren't really a popular group. There was other bigger guys on the course. I think Rowe was on the course at the same time, someone big. And I heard them talking, and one of the tee boxes, there was no one there. And Brennan was talking to Sam Burns about the upcoming Zurich partner event, and just talking about golf and who they were partnering with. And Brendan Todd said, "Yeah, I don't really like playing at these not Travelers, but some type of courses that everyone has success on. I only like to play on courses I really think I really have a chance on." So Brendan Todd is playing events that he thinks he can compete in, and this course makes so much sense for Brendan Todd. Georgia Bulldog, on top of it, driver accuracy, wedge. He's an amazing Bermuda putter, like an elite Bermuda putter, as he is on most surfaces. And I got him at 66-1. Wasn't really too hard of a thought. I know it's Brendan Todd. He's probably gonna finish 44th, but I'll take my chances with a 66-1 Brendan Todd. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I like that. And you're kind of selling me on Todd. Do you know off the top of your head what tee time? When does he play the Seaside course?
Yeah, he's playing Seaside course on Thursday.
So there you go. And so we don't have strokes gained data for his last 2 tournaments. He had a uninspiring Zozo, but we get that. It's the Zozo. That's not a course for him. But at Mayakoba had 6.2, or he gained 6.2 strokes total and finished 11th. So maybe coming in, I wish we got strokes gain data for that. So you're kind of selling me on Todd, and maybe I need to add more of him in. Let me pull up his ownership, and that's at 8% owned. One thing I might have to do, and I know their price very different, but I might have to pivot off Kirk and add a little bit more Todd. And I might do that tonight based on the ownerships.
Yeah, and I wrote him on my initial thoughts list, and for some reason my initial thoughts list has been so good. There's been a winner every other week, and I just haven't bet. So I got to start betting more guys that just are in my mind rather than just getting crazy with the numbers. But yeah,
there you go.
Brendan Todd, his last 2 starts here, he's gained 4.5 strokes putting and 5.3 strokes putting. So he's loved the surfaces. I remember it was 2 seasons ago when he won back-to-back events. This, I think, was the 3rd event in that stretch, and he had an awesome Thursday round, I feel like I remember. So he's good on these surfaces. He's home in Georgia. He's low ownership, and the story I just said, he's playing in events he thinks he can contend at. So, I mean, is he going to win? Probably not, but I'll take my chances with a 66-1. He's got the good tee time split. He goes off at 9:00 Thursday morning at the Seaside course.
I love it.
So who's the next guy you like in this range?
Well, there's a couple I like Kuchar, wrote about him in my fan share article. CH3 is right there, Matt Wallace, but Adam Long I'm kind of liking more and more. But I do want to talk about Aaron Rye. So he does have the wrong end of the tee time stacks, and so that's a little worrisome. But one thing I do know is he's one of the most accurate drivers of the ball, and he hits a lot of greens in regulation. That tells me he's a low spin ball hitter. So the wind may not affect him as much. Again, he's used to playing on the Euro Tour. It's usually more windy in those link style courses. Maybe he's accustomed to that. But one thing I really love, or what I love about Aaron Rye is, we know off the tee, and he's not long, but he just makes a lot of fairway. He gains 18th, ranks 18th off the tee in the last 24 rounds. He ranks 21st in ball striking, ranks 12th in fairways gained. We know that. But one thing I also really love is how well he's trending. So while it's just coming up right now, and first, he's also coming in at sub 5% owned. So really, really love that. But last week, gained 5.7 on approach, finished 19th while losing 2 strokes on the greens. If he just has an even day or even week on the greens, he probably finishes top 5. Really like Aaron Rye. This is a course fit for him. We don't have a number for course suitability ranking on him because he just hasn't played enough tournaments over here. But I would imagine this course really suits him. I got him at 90 to 1. I know others have got him higher, but at 7,400, sub 5% owned in DraftKings, it's a good play.
Yeah, I do like Aaron Rye. I heard you talk about him on Andy's show, and that greens in regulation stat. What is he? I think it was 8th in greens in regulation on the Euro Tour last season. That's saying something.
2
It's
seasons.
Not like last 2 seasons. That's awesome. Like you said, the Euro Tour played in a lot more windy conditions than we do in America. So that's only going to be a benefit if he's good in the wind. And he's sneaky. He's got 2 gloves on. I would love to see Aaron Rye like compete this week. The next guy I'll talk about in this range, I've bet him already twice this season, is Seamus Power. I like Seamus Power because he's an all-around complete golfer, with Bermuda being one of his second best surface. He's good in these buckets. The only thing that scared me off a little bit was his course history. But when you look at his course history, it was in the past when he's missed all these cuts, and I feel like he's a new golfer this past season.
I agree. Yeah.
I feel like he's a new golfer. So that course history didn't really scare me off. And like I said, like I stacked my card with all Seaside guys at day one, and he's in that split. And obviously, it's a big risk. But say the winner comes from that Seaside split, that cuts the field completely in half, and I'll take my chances. If it's a coin flip, it's a coin flip. I'll take my chances betting all my outrights who are teeing off Seaside Thursday. Seamus Power fits that mold. He's, like I said, he's really good in the bucket distances, 125 to 150 and 150 to 175. Accurate driver. I'm not scared. There's nothing about Seamus Power that scares me. He's just a complete golfer who can score the ball. And that's basically all I have in this range. Anyone else?
No, I'm just you mind if we go down to the 6K, the bomb range?
Yeah, I got one guy in the 7K range. Well, actually, they probably go together. So the one guy I got in this range is Emiliano Grillo. This is the third or fourth time I've bet Grillo this season, and I am ashamed to admit that, because there's no reason I should be betting Grillo that much. It's just because I model my stuff so tee to green based, and he's just so elite tee to green. Roll some putts. That's all you got to say. Just roll some putts, Grillo. This is the last spot I'll probably take him, because it's coastal and roll some putts. That's all I got to say. So we'll go to your range.
Yeah, so I'm going to just rattle off a few guys, because this is a range I really like. My favorite is Russell Knox, and he's coming in a lower ownership. Let me pull up the stats here. He ranks 5th overall, but he ranks 6th. What I really appreciate in fairways gains, going to hit a lot of fairways, ranks 15th in greener regulation gains, and I guess the bucket distance from 125 all the way up to 175. He ranks 4th and 2nd in proximity. Really like Russell Knox. But look out, if it stays windy, and it is over the weekend, really liking Rory Sabatini, Andrew Landry, like him. Has the wrong end of the splits. Look out for Michael Thompson. Nobody is talking about Michael Thompson, likely because if you just look at his strokes gained information, they're terrible, some of the worst in the field. But when Michael Thompson, what course did he win was it the 3M? Yeah, he won the 3M in 20. Yeah, killing it on he gained 7 strokes off on approach, but also around the greens. But he had a specific type of trend that was kind of coming in, and it didn't blow anybody away. But he usually kind of lost earlier in the year, a lot of strokes gained off the tee. And he kind of corrected that going into the 3M, which you really need to. But point being is we don't have strokes gained data for Mayakoba. He finished 15th, and I played him in Showdown quite often, and so was trying to follow it. And so you know how in strokes gained or the shot tracer it says like shot 2 from the fairway?
Oh, yeah.
With Michael Thompson, it was like every shot was from the fairway. And so he hit a lot of fairways, probably why he finished 15th there. So we don't have any strokes gained data from him. But in the last 24 rounds, he's actually really, really one of the best in the field from hitting fairways. And when you get a shorter course from Michael Thompson, one thing Michael Thompson, he's not short off the tee by any means. But one thing he did really well in the 3M was put his wedges close. Like I think of the 3M like when Champ won it this year on 18, he just sniped that wedge.
Crazy.
Yeah, and so Michael Thompson did a lot. He is great with the wedges. This is a Michael Thompson course, and he's coming in almost at 0% ownership. Didn't bet him outright, but he's a big DFS play. So I really like Michael Thompson. I'm Davis Riley, he's another guy. Hank Lebioda, I'm liking him more and more. Nick Hardy, Bronson Burgoon, David Thompson, and the last guy, Jim Herman. We're going to see Jim Herman's name this week, so look out.
Yeah, and I like all of those names, especially that Russell Knox. Russell Knox was 9th in my model. It's a good course fit for him. 4 of the 5 times he's been here, he's made the cut. So I think Russell Knox is a safe play. I'm sure you think he's owned a lot?
Yeah, I'm trying to right now. So right now it's 2%.
Russell Knox?
I'm adjusting. Yeah, and so wow. One thing I'll say about FanShare though, they're the most accurate when it comes to ownership, but when you get into the low 6K range, they're like it's harder to predict. So I don't think Russell Knox will be exactly at this number. I think he'll be a more 2%. Yeah, but we'll see. Maybe not.
Yeah, I mean he's a Southern guy. He went to college at Jacksonville. I think he can actually contend this week. I was close to betting him, but he was not in the good side of the tee time split, so I didn't. Another guy in this bomb range that modeled out for me well, but got the wrong end of the stick was Chez. He's just crushing approach right now. He doesn't have great course history. Kyle Stanley, he finished 5th in my model, and he finished 6th last year at this event. He's not going to make any putts, so just you're going to get that with Kyle Stanley. And Doug Gim, he was 9th in my model, made the last 2 cuts. He's been at this course. I think Doug Gim can have a sneaky performance this week if he gets off to a hot start, but he got the bad time of the split of the tee time splits, so I didn't bet him. But yeah, that's everyone I feel like is notable. Anyone else you have to say, or are you good?
No, I'm good. And I'll just say if I see someone who's trending really well, so is strong tee to green in the last 3 tournaments, is great ball strike in the last 3 tournaments, that's going to have less influence of me of not playing them in the wind. But or it gets the wrong end of the wind, like the course stack, whatever we want to call it. But if I'm having a guy who hasn't been playing well, but has maybe longer term course, kind of history, then that might make me get off them in DFS. So if you're hitting the ball better, it's less affected by the wind. If you're hitting the ball, so if you have good kind of current stats, we'll say coming in. So that's just how maybe I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I totally agree. So. I hope you guys learned something from this Wednesday night. You got one more sleep, and then you're gonna wake up, and we're gonna have some golf. So, I know Rob's excited. I'm excited. Thank you guys for watching, and good luck to everyone this week. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.